Mike, you're a viticulturalist for Sirromet Wines. Can you tell us, firstly, what conditions are like for you now?
It's fairly blowy at the present time. We're probably receiving winds in excess of 80k an hour as we speak. Trees are nearly touching the ground. There's rain coming in almost horizontal. It's not excessive rain at the present time, but that's expected to increase as the day goes on. It's quite chilly. We've had about 6 inches of rain over the weekend already, or 150 millimetres in the old scale. So we're ready to have a bit of a blow. And on top of what's happened in the last 2 years, it's just another kick for us.
And take us through that. What sort of an impact do conditions like this have on your farm and your livelihood?
Well, just quickly, 2019, in the spring of 2019, we came out of the worst drought we've ever seen in 232 years. And this was followed up quite quickly by a frost down on our vineyards. We were followed up by fires that went through our vineyard and around our vineyard. Then we were hit by hail. We were hit by a flood in January 2020. Then we were hit by a grasshopper plague in February 2020. Then, of course, COVID. Now coming into spring 2020 this year, we were again hit by frosts, which wiped out about 50% of our vineyard. And then here at Mount Cotton, we had 2 hailstorms within 9 days apart. And some of these hailstones were nearly the size of a cricket ball. So just a bit smaller than a cricket ball. And it's done a lot of damage to the fruit. And I probably lost in excess of 55, 60% of the fruit there and then. Now on top of that, I've had 6 inches of rain. And with the busted berries, it's an entry wound for mould, and in particular botrytis or grey mould. So it's not looking good for the harvest of 2021 for us. But I'm quite optimistic that I can still make something out of it. And it'll come back to me now. But it's just been, the excessive events that we're seeing globally. And I'm a firm believer that this has got to do with the climate changing. I think our greenhouse emissions being pumped into the atmosphere isn't assisting in any way. We're getting more weather conditions. We're getting a lot more vapour in the atmosphere. The planet has warmed by 1.47 when they thought this would happen by the year 2030. Well, this has happened in the year 2020. But more importantly, what I'm seeing on the ground here is that our nighttime temperatures throughout the growing season are not dropping. We're getting down to only 28 degrees. Now, in a continental climate, we'd get up to 36, 37 degrees in the daytime in the summer, but it would drop back down to, the high teens or the mid-teens, 15 to 17. We're not seeing that anymore. So there's this global, tension out there happening. We just can't keep pumping greenhouse emissions into the atmosphere and not accepting what's going to happen to us. And this is all part of it. Weather conditions are going to become more extreme.
You've obviously witnessed this firsthand, the changes in the crop. You said you've lost some fruit, some salvageable though, but what does the outlook look like for you heading into 2021?
We'll have to start again in the winter months of 2021 and I'll start pruning. But the hail was that severe, even the buds where the shoots come from, it's hit those buds. So I won't know the full extent of the following year's crop, because if the hail has damaged those buds, well, then that has a detrimental effect on the quality and the quantity of fruit for the next season as well. But I won't know that until I do bud dissection, and that'll happen in probably June, July of next year. So, it's behind the black ball again, but as they say, typical farmers, we're always behind the black ball. Just wouldn't be nice to be one day in front of the black ball, It's been a bit tragic for all farmers up here, and we don't need the excessive rain. It's good to get rain, but we don't need these winds. Even the winds are doing an awful lot of damage to the canopy of the vineyards.
It's obviously a concern moving forward, and how much of the region's economy there where you are is actually dependent on agriculture?
Look, there's a lot. You've got right inland as far as you can go to the Darling Downs, and from the coastal strip here around the Redland Bay Shires and then up towards the Sunshine Coast and into the hinterlands, and even the Gold Coast and in through Bow Desert and Boona. A lot of people are very dependent on the crops that come from the land. So therefore, even a 20% or a 25% loss is quite, dramatic as far as the cost price when it goes to the markets. I do know a lot of my friends who grow a lot of small crops. They're also experiencing, many other effects. The frost didn't work. With these winds, it does knock plants around so much that they find it hard to respond and get back on their feet. So we're seeing that, the unfortunate thing is it's going to hit the consumer, and that's not what we want.
The weather that we are seeing today and potentially the next couple of days, experts believe that this is the start of the La Nina now kicking in. Are you worried about that? Are you worried about this season?
My word. If we get La Nina, and it's unfortunate, rain for some farmers is the joy, and for other farmers, it's the detriment. If we get rain in January and massive amounts of rain in January and February, you can practically kiss our crop goodbye. It will begin to mould. Grapevines are fairly delicate, and they're also what I call the canary in the coal mines as far as agriculture goes. They're so dependent on the 4 distinctive seasons, and they're very dependent on the way that they flow throughout the year, and in particular how they react to global tensions as far as climate variances go. And if we get that massive rain, that's goodbye. We won't pick a bunch of fruit.
Well, we certainly hope that you get through it, and all the best for the crop for 2021. Mike Hayes, thank you for joining me.
Okay, bye now.